All right, looks like we're live. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Hey.
No
So good,
complaints.
so good. I'm
Everybody
just
trying to
gonna.
stay COVID free.
That's right. That's right. Andre got sick. We had a little scare. We thought, here it comes.
Oh, gosh.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But he got himself together. All right, now I'm good. I just had to make sure the noise from the YouTube didn't come on and interrupt us. So, hey, what's up, y'all? It's good to see you. It's Wednesday, 7 o'clock. As usual, Aaron Rivers, friends and family, Zoom event. You know what I'm saying? Today we're going to talk about video games. Video games, y'all. Video games. I remember when there weren't really any video games and we were like outside playing all the time. Like I remember before video games came,
Got some more
they sent your ass outside, man. You go outside. Why are you in the house? You know what I'm saying? They questioned why you were in the house with them, yo. The kids just sent them out. You come back when I call for you, you know what I'm saying? And that was it. You know, the parents had their life, the kids had their life. You know, there was no, we played together, but most times we were sent outside, to have our fun amongst our friends, and we had a lot of people we played with on the block. But games came, and eventually going outside became different because the world changed. You know what I'm saying? The world changed. It got dangerous to be out in the city outside. You know what I mean? Before it was always an amount of danger, but the neighborhood looked out. Now it's not like that. You can't even chastise someone else's kids. So life has changed. Video games were here. I remember the first video game I played that came to my house, Pong. And let me tell you, it was like, it was exciting. It was new. And we did it all damn day, every day, man. It was like the most fun we had. It was such a simple game, just a little ball going back and forth, hitting the little white line. That's it. That was the game. You know what I'm saying? I was like, how is that a game? But we loved it, It was the best thing ever because it was animated, you know what I mean? And we weren't used to nothing like that. And let me tell you, since then, a lot of games came. I'm going to talk about the game that I loved. It was a spaceship game called Gradius 3. When I found it, it was just, cheap little game. I looked at it, I thought, why not? It's cheap. So I bought it, you know what I mean? And then we played it. And let me see, it was one of the most addictive games I ever played. It was like, you know what? And I was okay with video games, but, my friends and family, they were always better. But this game was mine. You know what I mean? Whenever there was a rough spot, it was Aaron on the call, Aaron, you got to do this part so I can get up. And I was like, man, this is my game, I haven't played it since then, but it changed. Like as a child, when you're like dependent on to do something, it gives you a certain amount of pride. You know what I mean? It gives you a certain amount of pride. It brings up your confidence. You know what I mean? So video games did, in a way, help me. It did bring up my confidence. I was a shy young boy. I did not talk. I did not reply in more than 2-word sentences. I know that Yusuf knows about that, and so does Carmen. Yeah, I was crazy quiet. I was so quiet, people used to have to ask other people if I talked at all. They didn't know if I was dumb or not. Like dumb as in I couldn't speak. You know what I mean? And that's changed a lot since then, though. That's changed a lot since then. But I was a twin. I had Andre. Andre did all the talking. You know what I mean? And when we played video games, I remember that was such a big part of my lifestyle at that time. We used to leave the house to play video games. Kids don't know this about back then. There were arcades. There was something called arcades. And you went to the because video games weren't in your house. Video games were in the arcades. And we went and they had everything set up because there would be a movie theater somewhere close and always an arcade game. You know what I'm saying? And we had, I think we used to go downtown to Center City because they had two of them, one on Chestnut and one on Market. And we used to battle there. That was the hot spot. I loved it. It was just a different time. Kids didn't have a place to go except for like maybe the Y or, you know what I'm saying? But when the arcades came out, it was special made for us. You know what I mean? And we, and our generation loved it. And then it grew up into the crazy thing we have now, you know? So, look, I talked enough. You know, I usually don't talk this much about it. You know, I let other people talk. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to my man. You know what? You haven't been here in a minute, Don. So I'm gonna let you talk next, bro. Because you know what, you've been here.
Go last.
You sure you want to go last? You can last. You can last, bro. All right. I'll skip that. You know what? I'll go to Rob because Rob is always my other man. You know what I'm saying? So Rob, what's up? What's your experience with video games, my brother?
Oh man, I'm gonna try to make this brief, even though I got a lot to say. You're older than me by a couple years, so I know about the whole arcade thing downtown. But my thing was back in the Atari, 2600 days of the early 80s. We didn't have Atari. We had something better called Intellivision. So while my buddy was playing Atari up the street, 1982, 1983, I'm busting out my Intellivision that had better games, better graphics, that type of stuff. That first wave of home video games eventually faded away. I remember buying Intellivision games for 99 cents at Sears and Roebuck on 63rd Street. Nintendo came out 87. I was the first one in the neighborhood. I had the whole thing. I had to rob the robot. I had the gun with Duck Hunt. Mario Brothers, all that type of stuff. So I had friends waiting outside my house for one friend to leave so another friend could come in so we could play Karate Champ and Street Fighter and stuff like that. Super NES, by the time college came around in 92, me and my buddies, roommates, Madden tournaments, stuff like that, Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl, like we used to get it in. And the crazy part about my part of West Philly near Overbrook, like daytime, we outside. So it wasn't like we playing video games 24/7. We played ball at Tustin Playground every day. At nighttime, time to go over to somebody's house in their basement. We getting the Sega Genesis in, you know what I'm saying? We getting the Maddens in and stuff. I was never that good in Madden. Y'all could all trash me in Madden. My thing was Tecmo Bowl, you know what I'm saying? And with the 2K2 or 10 or whatever like that with TO on the cover, you know what I'm saying?
Dreamcast.
Yeah, Dream. Look, I sucked at Madden, but I can get people working ESPN 2K series. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty nice in that. I'm jumping around. Fast forward again. The first PlayStation, I'm with the Westchester University. So I'm on the bus that takes you from 69th Street Terminal to Westchester. And I hear these young boys in front of me talk about this game that came out on PlayStation about some house where you walking around this scary house and how scary it was, stuff like that. Go to the rental store and I start describing it to these dudes. Like, you sound like you talk about Resident Evil. I rented it and got it back to the apartment with me and my roommate. You talking about lose your mind. The first time you play, people who are younger than, I'm in my late 40s. You guys are, younger people are desensitized by all the stuff now. Let me tell you something. Resident Evil, the first time you play it, man, you lose your mind. Because the dogs busting through the glass, the first time the zombie turns around and looks up at you. When I met my wife is in the room, so she's gonna laugh. She's gonna laugh about this. But when I met her, she had her own PlayStation, and so I knew that if I marry this woman that's also in the video games, I'm never gonna hear the argument, hey boy, why you on that video game so much? You know what I'm saying? So that was part of my rationale to marrying someone. She's yelling out Silent Hill in the background because that was her game back in the day, which was also just as scary. To this day, I still play games. I still do the outside stuff. I still play ball. I do all the other type of stuff. But right before the meeting started, I was playing Back for Blood that I just bought for PlayStation 4. And it's just like, hold on for a second. Sorry about that. I like I said, I just finished playing the game before I got on here. So that's like I said, I want to pass the mic around, but I wanted to quickly share my quick video game story to everybody.
Oh, what you just play? What were you playing?
Back for Blood. I told you guys a couple episodes ago that I was a big Left 4 Dead fan. The makers of Left 4 Dead from Valve, the company, they broke off and made this game called Back for Blood, which is basically another zombie shooter. Very similar to Left 4 Dead. You have to go from stage to stage and stuff like that. Game is awesome. It's hard. I mean, I die. It ain't no going through a whole mission without dying. It's a lot. It's beastly like that. But again, at the same time, I may go months without playing. So it all depends where you catch me. Some of these games are new I got for Christmas or whatever like that. So I'll play them for a hot second. But then, man, I have to admit, I'll put them down for a minute, and I may not play for weeks at a time before I play again.
I want to ask you something about the duck game, yo. Every time I was in the arcade, none of the pistols worked right, man. None of the pistols worked right, yo. When you was at home with the duck game,
it worked. It worked.
It worked. No, when you shot, right? Did it have that click thing that go back at you too?
The duck hunt. The game, it wasn't that fancy. It didn't have no recoil or the I know what you're talking about. The rack part.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that fancy. It's a simple light gun, but it worked. I mean, only thing the stupid Rob the Robot thing, that was just a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think after that first time, it really wasn't conducive to playing video games with like Gyromite and stuff like that use Rob the Robot.
Mm-hmm.
I think after they realized that thing wasn't that big a deal, they started selling the Nintendos with just the Duck Hunt gun and the original console. They started leaving out the whole Rob the Robot thing because it was stupid.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But yeah, still a gamer. I can still give people work in some of these sports games and the shooting and the third-person shooters.
Cool. Well, thanks for your share, brother. I'm gonna move on to my man Yusuf because I ain't see Yusuf in a minute. Yeah, I gotta say what's up to my brother over here. What's up, Yusuf? You're muted. Go ahead, man. What you know about video games, bro?
How are you, man? How's everybody?
All right.
Yeah, it's just good to be seen, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm definitely reminiscent about back in the day when we were young on Easter after church. Everybody would go to movies, go to arcade, hang downtown a little bit, show off your Easter outfit. And also a lot of people when we were younger, a lot of people, their parents would go to the casinos in Atlantic City. They drop you off at the arcade like 8 hours. They go to the casino for 8 hours. And the arcade was like a babysitter for the teenagers. So it was cool. But a funny thing is, man, when I was like in high school, like when Madden kind of came out, one of my homies, best friend in high school, people would go to his house and play whatever. So I'd go to his house, to play Madden. He wouldn't teach me how to play. Like I was on my own. Like he would just like crush me, show me how to operate the game. So the crazy thing was, I knew how to run the ball really good, but I didn't know how to throw. I didn't know how to throw and catch. So my whole offense was just running the ball. So what I did, I picked the team with the best defense. So nobody could score 100 points on me by just throwing or whatever. But they knew what I'm going to do. I'm going to run the ball. But I got so good at running the ball, once I learned how to throw the ball and catch it, nobody could beat me. So once, you know what I mean, 'cause I was the master of running the ball. That's all I could do for like maybe like 3 months. And you know, ain't nobody was like asking me how the game worked or how, you know, whatever. And, you know, once I figured it out, man, it was just funny because like nobody could beat me. So it was funny when I got a little bit older and I would play with young boys. They'd be surprised how good I was on Madden. You know what I mean? I paid my dues, you know what I mean? And, you know, I played it. And so, like, the young boys who are unbeatable, oh, my little brother, he's so good playing. I'm like, all right, I'm playing. You know, I would beat him by, like, you know, excuse me, beat by, like 7 points, 3 points, whatever. Dude, like, why you beat him? This guy's like, weird. This kid, nobody beats this kid, whatever. I'm like, you got good defense, a running game, you know, block a couple field goals. You can beat anybody, man. So it was cool. And the crazy thing was when I was a young police officer, second shift, when you come home, it's hard to unwind. You know what I mean? But sometimes I get on Madden, then that would kind of like get me a little bit tired. And then I would be able to go to sleep. But if I was Madden, I was a young rookie cop, man. I couldn't go to sleep.
Couldn't calm down.
Find me down. Play nights, but that game saved me some sleep. Because you work 4 to 12, when I go up to like 2, 3 in the morning, you gotta be to court 8:30 next day. So you never really, you just stay up, you just up. You're in court all day and you gotta be back to work by 3:30. You ain't gonna sleep like 3 days, easy. You ripping and running, you ain't fighting crime. So yeah, man, I was fine at night. Some rest, man. Then I got into the boxing game a little bit. But yeah, man, you know, it's but also,
I forgot about the boxing game, yo. I forgot about that game. Is that the game with the lines and the squares for the arms? And then you be swinging and is that the very first boxing game I remember? It had who was it?
Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Was it Mike Tyson? I think there was one before Mike Tyson, or they added it to the same game. But I used to play that game. That was a fun game, man. That's a fun game.
Oh man, they had like, you know, they had the greats on there. They had, you know, Mike Tyson, Vander Holyfield, you know, everybody.
Ali on there too. Yeah.
Champs on there, yeah.
Marciano was on there. That was a great game, man. I really liked that game.
Yeah. So yeah, it was cool. Yeah, man, that's my experience. I actually haven't played video games in probably, I don't know, probably about a good 12 years. So get back into it. I want to get that new PlayStation, but I'm scared to get one. You can't even get them. I don't want to buy them off some stranger on the street. Some, you know, it's like you know what I mean. I want to get.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, they got legit spots you can get them from, like StockX. You can get it from StockX, but you're not gonna get it at retail. You're gonna get it at resale, not retail. So
right,
you're gonna get it like $700-800. That's like double the price.
Whew.
Yeah, but I think you can't even get them done.
All right, man. You're breaking up, Yusuf. You're breaking up, bro. I can't hear you.
You gotta get on from the.
Oh, Yusuf. All right, man. Your reception is pretty bad, Yusuf. You're going in and out, bro. In and out.
You hear me now?
It's transformer-ish.
Yeah. So you know what, Yusuf, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna have to let you anyway, man. And maybe if it gets together, you come back, brother. But I'm gonna move on, bro. I appreciate it. I wanted to ask you another question too. I wanted to ask you what the graphics in Madden was like back then, man. But I you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm gonna try to let you talk again, see if you can get it out. What was the graphics like, man? And YouTube, can you hear?
High school days. Yeah, you fine. You guys got me? No? Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Go ahead, man.
You know, the graphics was really basic, man. But you know, every year they got better and better. Every year, man, just got better and better. So now it's like, you know, unbelievable. But you know, the funny thing about PlayStation back then, I thought it was possessed or something, because when I would play football, when I was turning my Madden, the weather would always match the weather in real life. And you know what I mean? It was kind of freaky, because if it was snowing outside, I put the game on, the game is snowing. If it's raining one day, I put the game on, it's raining. If it's sunny, I put the game on, it's sunny. I put the game on, it's cloudy, it's cloudy.
How did they get that though? Because there wasn't no internet like that yet.
It wasn't. That's why I said it was freaky. Like, I was like, yo, what's this game? How can you know the weather? I'm sorry, I don't think anyone had experience, but it was kind of freaky like that. The weather would always match.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary, yo.
Yeah. It's snowing outside. My game is snowing at the stadium. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, it was some fun times though.
Cool. I'm gonna move on to Carmen, man. Thanks for sharing, my brother. You know what I mean? Carmen, what's up with you in video games? What do you know about video? You don't look like you know anything about video games. What you know?
Okay, what I do know is back when I would go home to New York and I would visit my family, and my brother would have all these games, and then my mom's gift to me was Jacks. And so I found out the price of the games. I had a little problem with that. I don't know if you know that Jacks cost less than $1, and my brother had a whole equipment thing going on with the Atari and all that stuff. Yeah, I had a little problem at first with video games. And then I got hooked into the arcades with Pac-Man and Atari at the arcades. And now, fast forward 2021, my grandson, who's 4.5, is following his dad that's hooked on video games, and he's doing video games. So sometimes when I call him, I have to make him look at me because he's too busy playing the video games while he's talking to me. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing because the focus sometimes.
We losing you, woman. Everybody getting lost today, man. Are you back?
It's a bad thing at times.
Oh,
that's what I know.
Might be COVID in the phone.
Say it again.
The phone got COVID.
Yeah.
The phone got COVID.
The phone got COVID. Yeah. It's a reception problem with both of y'all. Y'all. It's all good though. I love having Carmen on. Carmen's funny, yo. So
my signal's weak.
I say what? Oh, she's still out of it. She's still out of it. So we're gonna move on, y'all. We're gonna move on. It's that kind of show today. We're gonna move on to the young boy in the room. The young boy, what's up, my man? Lendale.
What's up,
how you doing, brother?
Rob, Carmen, cousin Yusuf, what's good with y'all?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, everything's cool. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Tired yourself, but I'm good.
Yo, you know what's nice about video games? Give us some of your experience, bro.
Well, my first video game was down the old Game Gear that had the Sonic on that, John. That was black and heavy duty.
Wow,
that was my...
What about that game, yo?
But guess who bought it for me, Tom?
Who was it?
Uncle Aaron.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, thank you.
Christmas presents.
I forgot all about that.
On this cheat code where you had Sonic to jump like the Hawk. He jumps all the way up, and you can't control where he lands. So when he lands, if you land on the spike, that pretty much was the whole game for you. It was that, but then he brought me a Nintendo 64, which I damn. And John was pissed by me about that because he bought that game. I ain't even like that game.
You didn't like it?
I ain't like the whole the cartridge. If the thing don't work, you had to blow it, take it, then put it back up in
I
there.
used to get on your nerves.
Yo, I hate that joint. When he got the PlayStation, I love that joint. And it was two PlayStation. The original one was the gray big box that had the reset button. Then was the white one that you could carry around. When he had that, I loved it. He had Tekken. He had Street Fighter. He had.
You said you could carry it around.
Yeah, the white one.
The white one was it was a slim version. That's why it was a slim version.
Oh, okay, but it didn't have no screen or nothing like that. It was just you carry it around or wherever. It wasn't okay.
It was book bag appropriate. You could put it in your book bag and go.
Oh, y'all used to put them in your book bags and go.
Yeah.
Real?
Yeah, it was actually small. It was like a almost the size of a CD player. That's how small it was.
Oh.
Yeah. So I learned when I had the PlayStation before Don stopped playing PlayStation, he stopped playing the PS2. I was playing Spider-Man on PlayStation. I was playing Tekken on PlayStation. I was playing Twisted Metal, Duke Nukem, Jet Moto.
Duke Nukem. I played that on the computer.
That was the PC game right there, bro.
Game right there, bro. Duke Nukem. The first time I saw Duke Nukem, it blew my mind. I never seen a game like that. Never seen a game like that. Yeah. It was PC game. It wasn't even supposed to be that good. You know what I mean? But it was like I think the monsters and it's just the way he talked and stuff. Video games didn't talk like that. You know what I mean? They didn't. He was a whole asshole, and you loved it. It was like, yeah.
Well, you know what Duke Nukem? They took what Doom did and made it better.
Yeah. And so he was pretty much like Doom. He was pretty much like Doom's guy.
Yeah.
Also, when he had the PlayStation, he had Dreamcast, which was my favorite one. Which I considered the original Xbox, because Dreamcast was that good with graphics, games. It was that good. You had the Sonic game where you had the killer that scared the crap out of me. Oh yeah. Then you had that was actually good. You had the first, I ain't gonna say, but the first real good basketball game. I think that was. I don't think it was called. It was called 2K.
It was 2K. It was called 2K. But it had, remember, AI was on the cover of all the 2Ks for Dreamcast.
Yeah. I remember that one. That was actually pretty good. It would say your whole name. You could change. You could create a character, make them all 99. Do whatever you want inside of that. You had the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, 2 wrestling games. That was actually.
I forgot about WrestleMania. I forgot all about that game, yo. That was a fun game, man. I wasn't even a wrestling fan like that at the time, but when that game came out, it made me a wrestling fan.
See, I hate it because of Doink. Because every time he come in, he automatically hit you with that big behind hammer. Automatic. When he come in the ring, bang. I hated that game, but I loved it. But I also hated it. Around that time, he ended up getting. I think that's when he got the PlayStation or afterwards. But he ended up getting the PS2. So when the PS2 came out, it was a wreck because I had other games. He had Sight the Filter on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. You had the Wolverine game, the Beat Down, another Twisted Metal. You had Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, then San Andreas. You had
every birthday, Grand Theft Auto came out for your birthday, and I would buy it for you.
Yeah, yep, yeah, you did.
Grand Theft Auto.
Vice City, you brought me because I brought Grand Theft Auto, and then because 3 was hard to find. When I say hard to find. Me and Mama, we ended up finding it at Target. It was in the back, and the dudes didn't want to bring it out.
Yeah, of course we did.
It was one of the Grand Theft Auto games where it had adult graphics that you can't sell, so they asked for it back and try not to resell it. Try to resell the less sexual graphic ones. I agree. It's sexual on there, period. So I ain't care. So it's like
I remember when you could rent video games.
Yeah.
When you go to Blockbuster, you get yourself a video game. Yeah,
almost
West
anywhere.
Coast. Yeah. You get a video game and something to watch.
But that's when,
That's
yeah,
when
that's when they had
we
mom and
had
pop.
what's the recorders? What we call them back then? The
the VHS.
no, when we used to watch videos on, it was like video. Rob, you know what that is? With the tapes, cassettes. VCR, yeah, VCR. We used to go to the Blockbuster and Blockbuster and who was it? You said it, West Coast. Blockbuster and West Coast, they always set up next to each other because they knew the kids would want the video games and the family would want the videos to watch. And we used to go there and get the video games, and return our video games and stuff at West Coast. And then we would go to Blockbuster and get our tapes to watch. And, it was kind of cool back then, man. I kind of liked it back then. It was a fun time. Because the technology was so new to us.
I never knew about West Coast. I knew about Blockbuster, but never West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast Video.
No, right. I had some handheld games, like some old school handheld games. I asked like the Space Invaders, the Atari, the Pac-Man. Then you had Mrs. Pac-Man. Then you had the race car. Then you had Digger. Then you had Donkey Kong a little bit. Like I had some handheld games that was actually pretty good. I'm like, they had this back in the day. This is actually pretty good. Who don't like this? But
some good handheld games, man. Some things was exclusively handheld. The football game? Remember the football game with the lines?
Oh yeah, I had that.
It was called a Tiger. They were called Tiger handheld, and Tiger cornered the market. Tiger games cornered the market with handhelds, but they were so what's the word? They were like the old Game Boy. It's how all the Tiger games looked. There was no color. It was only a green screen.
It was just a green screen and a line and that 40-foot and lines. You didn't have characters. You just had lines that played the character. I remember that. And we had this one football, John, that we used to play, against each other. So both of us would be holding it. You know what I mean? And you'd be shaking, trying to get your men to do what you wanted. I love that game. Them games was fun, but them games were like. It's not like today, because today you don't have to be in front of anybody no more. You could just be online and play other players.
Well, they got rid of the whole couch games. Like the only couch games they have nowadays is a few shooters, but it's sports. Only sports game can you sit next to somebody and actually play against them, because split screen is pretty much done.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mention that because I bought my son a PlayStation 3 game, one of the Resistant games, just because you can only, like you said, it's hard to find split screen co-op games anymore because these newer systems, the PS4s and PS5s, they use so much memory to show you this real world, open world exploring and stuff like that. When you split the screen, you're basically making it times 2. And it's too much for these consoles to have anymore.
Well, I can agree and disagree, but I just think that you see less of the world. Kind of like where a full screen, you can see the whole world, and you got to worry about getting shot by somebody. Remember, I don't know if you ever played the old 007.
I didn't, but I know what you're talking about. The GoldenEye and stuff like that on the
right. So when you play with a split screen of 4 people, you really couldn't see the whole screen. So a lot of people were screen watching, find out where you were, and run into that area.
Oh, that's what I used to do. You know what I'm saying? Look, listen, Doc, you're talking to a man that when LCDs first came out, Aaron probably remember this. When LCDs first came out, they were like $2,000 just for a 32-inch TV, which I did not have. So a buddy of mine, he had this projector in his basement garage. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go crazy with it. I bought me a projector. I still have the projector right now in my closet, a DLP projector. I bought an 8x4 foot screen and I would do a 4-player split screen with Medal of Honor. And so imagine playing split screen with this thing that takes up almost your entire wall in the basement. So
I have a projector as well. Yeah, mine is only 1080 though.
Mine is almost 20 years old, so it's also 1080p. You know what? It might even be only 720. That's how old my projector
20
is.
years old, probably 720.
I'm gonna tell you, but mine only costs $78. Mine it's an RCA, $78, and it goes up to 110 inches.
Only difference with mine is I definitely wanted mine to have HDMI input, just because when I started playing with it with a PS2, and the PS2s first came out, they had an HDMI out, and I had a DVD player with HDMI out. So me and my family, we watched movies in the garage on like a 100-inch screen, and again, we did this almost every other weekend. And but when I had my godsons and my nephews over, split screen, deathmatch, a Medal of Honor, and that's how we got by on this. Because like I said, you can't, back then your TV was a 27-inch TV. If you were lucky, the biggest TV you had was a 32-inch or 30-inch CRT.
And them Zenith TVs didn't last that long with video games. Them Zeniths didn't last that long with video games.
Big as hell, man.
Yeah, they were big and heavy, and nobody wanted to move.
The fat ass. It was big with the fat ass.
Right.
That's what made it so heavy, because it had the fat ass.
Oh, that ass, yeah. It was big as it was. They were too heavy, yo. They weren't even tube TVs, yo. They were still big and heavy.
Now the Call of Duties are still split screen, but their maps aren't as big as they used to because it takes up so much memory and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can still get those on there, playing offline deathmatch with bots and stuff. But I miss the days when you can go 4-screen, have a bunch of friends over, killing each other, sniping each other, and stuff like that. I think these games, the better they get with the graphics, they're losing out on that component of being able to play with friends and family and siblings and stuff like that.
That's why they want you to buy an online registration and buy that, because they want you to play at your home and a person play at their home.
And I get it's not as fun if you can't talk trash to a person right next to you.
Exactly.
Because back in the day, 2-player meant that you were sitting right next to each other.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, you got sports games that's like that. So pretty much, if you want that, you still play sports. If you want to,
you can still do that with sports. Do they make games like that at all outside of sports?
It's a very
Street Fighter. What about Street Fighter? Street Fighter was like that.
Well, that's a fighting game, so you can go both ways with Street Fighter. Like fighting game, like anything that involves sports. So fighting, golf, racing games do split screen, things of that nature. But anything that involves shooting, for the most part, like you can't play. What's the game? The Division split screen.
Yeah. There's no way you could do that.
You can't play Breakpoint split screen. You can't play none of these shooting games split screen like that. At least, well, only online shooting game I did see play was Gears of War. Gears of War, you can play that online missions split screen.
Million Down was doing that constantly. And a Horde.
Yeah, you can do split screen online with Gears of War. I didn't notice anything else. Possibly. Also Battlefield allows you to do online split screen as well.
Battlefield, like the game Battlefield.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I never played that one online.
Yeah, it's a first person though. It's a first person.
I think you could also do it with the what's the game with Master Chief?
Halo.
Yeah.
Halo. Yeah.
I think that's still split screen as well.
Oh, it is?
I haven't played it. Keep in mind, I haven't played in years.
I don't like I didn't ever like Halo. I never liked it. So it never really I was more into realistic shooters. The only one I ever played that wasn't realistic was Resistance for PlayStation,
right,
and Gears of War for Xbox. Yeah, I didn't really play a lot of like Xbox wasn't really my thing until later on when the 360 came out.
See, I was a big Unreal Tournament fan. I played that on the I played it on the PC first. You know what I'm saying? With what's that other Valve game that the Half-Life and Half-Life 2.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So all those.
I don't know these things. Y'all the real nerds in the room, y'all. Because I don't know none of these jokes, man. Lord.
These were games that never at the time weren't coming out on consoles.
Nah.
So the only way to play them is on a PC.
PC, yeah.
And
PC games.
You had to have like even a baby 256 mega. I'm saying megabyte now. Now video cards are in the gigabytes. But back in the day, if you got a 256 megabyte video card, you could play a halfway decent video game without it skipping
or crashing.
Yeah, or crashing your computer or whatever like that. You know. So yeah, I didn't get hardcore with it because I didn't have the money to keep up. As soon as I would buy
PC is it's only expensive when you got to upgrade. Because a PC can last for a good year without having to upgrade. But the easiest part is upgrading because all you need to do is buy the chip or the graphics card or you know what I'm saying, and then you just upgrade it. That was it. Consoles, you gotta wait 7 to 10 years for a new console to come out. Yeah, that's why when these consoles come out, they're so advanced because they know that times are going to change. Like the games keep on getting bigger and bigger. Like back in the day, you didn't have to download a game in order to play it. If you got a disc, you have a console with a disc. You know, you put the game in, it has to download, and then you can play it. Like back in the day, it was none of that. You just played it. You had a memory card that was separate. You know, so storage is getting different. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
So good.
Games taught me, Don taught me how to play games and how to be a winner and not being a loser. So I used to hate losing, and Don just never take it easy on me. I was like, take it easy on me, man. He's like, no, you gotta learn. how you going if I allow you to win? So he told me that winner loses, and they figured out how to stop losing. Just they figured out how to win just by losing. So I'm behind Madden like 50 to like 20 points. You know, I have like 20, 30. He had like 100 something.
It makes you better.
Only game competition was basketball. Only game. So
it was SmackDown. You got better in SmackDown.
Well, yeah, that's when I was playing SmackDown. Before SmackDown became this dumb behind SmackDown, I still stopped playing it. It was SmackDown, basketball.
Yeah, SmackDown was made by THQ.
Yeah, I miss THQ. They had some good games. So that's probably like the only two then, Don. Like SmackDown and basketball. That I used to give me competition and taught me how to live life. Basically, like you can't live life as a loser, as a sore loser. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's what games teach you, how to lose and how to win.
And they losers, and they love losing because they teach them how to win. They teach them how to it make you get better. So only games that I could get better against Don was wrestling and basketball. I knew I couldn't be a man because I can't get the whole defense and offense the mechanism. Only thing I liked was the little mini games that man had. I could give him some type of chase there, but when it came to regular,
they had mini games.
Yeah, like training camp games. You know, like for instance, if you want to know how to run the ball, they actually had a training camp game, a little mini game you could play to learn how to run the ball, how to hit the hole properly, how to juke, how to stiff arm. Like if you want to know how to play defense, it shows you how to, as a linebacker, where to run to hit the holes, to tackle somebody. So Madden was actually very informal in its early days. It's not what it is now. You know, now it's just a money maker. All they care about is Ultimate Team. But Madden used to have a whole lot of stuff on it back in the day. Like they can't now because they get sued. But Madden used to have 3 different kind of teams. You had the regular team, you had the all-time team, and then you had the best of team.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But they can't do that now because they'll get sued. You know.
Then they And they had the what's the mini games. My best one was Madden 04 that had Michael Vick on there. That was my favorite one. Along with Madden 08 and Madden 08, you end up getting the hit stick, and 09 you didn't have your crate player. So those are my 3 Madden games that I actually like. But when it comes to like certain games, even in hockey, he used to beat me. And we both sucked at hockey. For some odd reason, on the last quarter, in the last second, he will score. He would actually score that one winning part and beat me just by that 1 point.
I remember I learned how to play hockey by playing a hockey video game.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, those are the rules.
Yeah.
I never understood hockey at all. You know what I'm saying? I used to watch it. I'm like, I didn't get it, man. What's that? They call it so many damn penalties. I'm like, another penalty? What happened? You know what I mean? Now I understand it. Now I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, video games taught me how to like watch some sports. I feel I'm learning that if you really don't know much about a sport, if there's a video game, that's how you'll find out what the sport is, the different things about the sport, without having to, get tutored by somebody. You know what I mean?
That's golf and tennis for me. I still don't play either one, but I understand the scoring of it just because I played the video games. I know what a 7-hole match is or whatever at a golf tournament or whatever, and I know what why tennis is 15, then 30, then 40 instead of 45, and then it's match love, and like I know how the scoring system because of playing video games with tennis and stuff like that. So you're right. You can learn a lot without doing the real thing just by playing the video game.
I used to play baseball, but then
Oh, you're skipping.
this used to be another game that I used to win down.
You're missing a lot, Tone. We losing your reception, man. It's been a bad reception night, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bad reception. I think we had 3 people on here with bad reception, man. But it's all good. It's all good. You know what? We almost at the hour anyway. And this bad reception is really bringing me down, man.
But let me just speak my piece, then we can go ahead and be out.
All right, bro. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, my memory of video games started '89 when the NES came out. I asked for it, didn't think I was going to get it, and actually got it. And like Rob said, mine came with just the gun. It was just the gun and two controllers. And I think my first game besides Super Mario Brothers was a Sight Bike. Loved that game. Like I was die hard a Sight Bike crazy because you can make your own tracks and you can race and all that kind of stuff. So it was a Sight Bike and track and field. Then moving on forward, that's when we moved back to Philly and I got introduced to what arcades were. We didn't have I never went to an arcade, but like either a Celebration Station or Chuck E. Cheese. But they have a whole arcade that's based on video games and no kiddie stuff. I've never seen one before. So when we moved back to Philadelphia when I was 13, it was a brand new experience when you and Uncle Andre took me to the arcade. Like that was just like, whoa, like it was just games everywhere. Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Cyber Sled, any kind of game you could think of, it was just crazy. And then as home consoles got more advanced, I never had a Super Nintendo, but I did have a Sega Genesis. My dad got me a Sega Genesis. Okay. So it was always 3 buttons, A, B, and C, select and start. That's all I had. So playing that kind of style was very, very hard. So eventually Sega came out with a 6-button, paddle. So that was a little bit easier. And then, games got advanced again. And guess what came out? The PlayStation. The CD-ROM. It was like, whoa. Like Rob said, PlayStation, I was like, dang, graphics are crazy. And my first sports game I ever played was actually called Game Day. NFL Game Day, 98. That was like the epitome of football. Like I didn't play Madden until the 2000s. We either played Game Day or we played, it was another one out as well. And that's what we played. And then as far as we didn't really play basketball like that till later. Then, PlayStation came out, then the Dreamcast came out. The PlayStation, like years later, the Dreamcast came out. And I had a Dreamcast. And graphics was crazy. The controller was crazy because the controller had a memory card that was actually a video game system. You could play a game on your memory card. The memory card was about as big as a key fob. It was hold on. I'm gonna show you this how big the memory card was for Dreamcast. This is how big the memory card was for Dreamcast. This key fob right here. And it had an interactive screen on it. So
some of them had an interactive screen on.
Oh, the ones I had interactive screens on. I didn't know they had different kinds.
Yeah, the cheaper ones just had a straight up memory card for people like me that didn't want to pay extra.
Ah, got you. Yeah. So and the best part about it was whatever you did in the game, the interactive screen would react to it. So if you shot a 3-pointer and you hit it, the screen would light up and it would say "good shot," or it would say "whoa," whatever, And then that's when Dreamcast was like, that was my system for a long time, because AI, he endorsed the Dreamcast, so that's why he was on the cover of all the basketball games. And then on the football games was Randy Moss. At the time, he was prime time. And they changed it. That system revolutionized sports, and still to this day. Yeah, yep, internet, yep. The first one to the internet. Yeah, yep. It was. It definitely was.
56K dial-up. I remember I was working at Electronics Boutique at the time.
56K dial-up.
Yep.
Yo, I haven't heard that name.
Yep.
I haven't heard that in years, man. I did.
That's when GameStop was at one end and Electronics at the other end in the gallery. I remember those days. Yeah.
Look, they still got a couple of them around. Not as many as they used to, but there's an EB one in the mall. Though ironically, it's the same one that I worked in 1998 when I was trying to get the ring for my wife. I worked there part-time. It's still there. Every other store around it has changed a million times. That EB, only thing is different is the registers on a different side of the room. You know what I'm saying? Everything else has changed, but it's
that's
still
funny
there.
You say that because that's where I bought Tony's N64 from.
Wow.
EB, yep. That's where I bought Tony's his N64 that he only played it one time. He never asked for any games for it because he had a PlayStation.
Wow.
See, the N64 was still cartridge.
Yeah.
And people were mad about that. Like, yo, everybody's doing CDs. Why y'all still doing cartridges?
Right.
So it wasn't until and then when they came out with the GameCube, people were already pissed at the N64. They didn't really buy the GameCube like that. I know I didn't even touch the GameCube at all.
Yeah. My little Dreamcast. I'm not about to buy a Dreamcast, but I could get the original Dreamcast. I'm not about to do it.
And then like Rob said, the first horror game I ever played was Resident Evil. The first horror game, and like you said, you did not want to play that game at nighttime or by yourself.
Nope.
Period. That's how it was so scary. It had a scene on there. You gotta run down a hallway and these dogs jump out, right? It's crazy, like just like the movie. But it's also a scene where you had to fight a giant spider. And if you die, the spider when it punctured you, you had 2 giant holes in your chest. It was a crazy game. Resident Evil was definitely revolutionized horror games. It definitely did. A lot of games took what Resident Evil did and this made it theirs. To a certain degree. But Resident Evil was definitely revolutionary with their game. Because I'm
high-end graphics too, right? It was like
it was what it was for that day. For that time period, yes, it was. I remember buying a game for Dreamcast that I loved in the arcade called House of the Dead.
I was getting ready to say that was my first zombie game right there. But that was
and I had the light guns to go with the Dreamcast as well.
Yeah.
And the light guns was really accurate. I was surprised. It was really the light guns I had was really accurate. So whatever you shot at, you shot. And granted, it didn't have the whole release trigger thing. You know, you just shot. It wasn't that advanced as the arcade. Yeah. And then what was after the PS2 came out? That was this a wrap. You know, the PS2 came out. I was in awe. I was in awe when the PS2 came out because it was like a computer. It was just like a computer. There was no switch. It was a button you press in the back like you would a tower or something like that. You know, and when you turned it on, it was like, wow. You know, it was full-fledged. It was Twisted Metal. By that time, it was me, myself, and Uncle Andre with Ira, and we played sports games almost every weekend.
I remember that.
Yeah, it used to be down there too.
Yeah, I remember that.
We played football.
Watch y'all beat each other up on the games. I was like, y'all used to go at it, man. I would try to play, but y'all kicked my butt so much. I was like, okay, let my guitar over there. Okay, I'll get my guitar.
That's what we played. We played all three sports: football, basketball, and hockey. Is what we played all the time.
I remember y'all would play those three sports, and you would play Street Fighter all the time.
That was it too. Yes, sir.
Street Fighter all the time.
And see this.
And Spider-Man. Was the Spider-Man game around the same time? I can't remember.
It was out, but we didn't touch it though because there was only one player.
Okay, all right.
See, that's what made me mad about Sony with the PlayStation is they knew they had a console that people like playing together with friends, and they had. In order to play 4-player, you had to buy an additional piece of hardware.
Mm-hmm. The adapter, yeah.
Whereas in the first Xbox came with 4 controller ports. Sorry.
Yeah, inside the system.
The system, without making you buy something else. I hated PlayStation.
Is that why Xbox blew up? Because I remember Xbox blew up. It came out.
Hold on. First, Dreamcast had that 4-port system first.
Did it?
You're right.
Yes. Dreamcast had it first, and then Xbox bit off of that. But Xbox added their own. See, Xbox had their own games like Dreamcast. Xbox had their own sports, their own everything. So they're
and back in those days, and I think it was the first console you could use like a computer, right?
To a certain degree, but they also what Xbox did that was revolutionary, I thought, was the fact that they when a AAA game came out, they got something different. Like when Grand Theft Auto came out, they got a whole completely different game than everybody else. So while the other systems got one kind of game, Xbox got something totally different.
They did have their own games, period. Like it wasn't like
right. But AAA titles, they got something different from everybody else. So like while PlayStation for instance, PlayStation got a version, Dreamcast got a version, and whatever other console got a version of all the same versions, right? Mm-hmm. But the Xbox got a completely different game from all three of those versions. That was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty. But even like they had to wait 6 months after the game came out, though. That was the only bad part. So while we were already playing the game, they had to wait 6 months for their game to come out. And
then you had to buy a new version of the game to play on theirs.
No. They had their own version. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you have to buy a new version of the game though?
It's only made for them. We couldn't buy it. You see what I'm saying?
Unless you had an Xbox.
You know, like that's what Xbox did. You know, and then when the 360 came out, that was this through the roof. I never seen anything like it. All wireless controllers, which means only bad part about it, I had to buy batteries, or I can buy rechargeable batteries. Mm-hmm. You know, that was. I
remember they used to take batteries. I forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm. But everybody's bought rechargeables. You know what I'm saying? You bought rechargeable batteries, but the controllers lasted pretty long though.
I still got my Xbox 360. It still works.
Oh, you never got the red. The red is an original Xbox or is
No,
it?
oh no, the original ones, the Red Ring of Death took those original ones.
Man, that used to hurt my feelings, man. That used to, yo. I remember reading in game magazine books, seeing on TV, everybody was talking about it, but it never happened to me. After I'll say 2 or 3 years after my warranty went off, it happened to me. I was sitting down busting somebody's ass in Madden online, and brother, clink, clink, boom.
And that's it.
And once you get the red rings, you can't get rid of it.
It's a wrap, yeah.
For real?
Yeah, because what it is that your system overheated to a certain point that all the microchips are done. It wasn't like something you can reset. Nah, once you get the red rings, it's done.
That's it. You red rings forever.
Yep. And it got so bad that Microsoft started having to extend the warranties. So instead of getting a 1 year, everybody got a 2 year.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it got. I mean, it got bad with the red rings of death, man. It was like a total catastrophe, man.
That's why they saw like Xbox 360S or the other ones that have more fans in it, so it lasts longer.
Yeah, because people was complaining about that. That was the reason why. The Xbox
didn't have enough fans.
It only had one big fan.
It.
Yeah, it had one big fan on top, and that was it. It didn't have no fans in the back. But here's what they did though. They had third-party companies come out with fans. Like it was a company called Nyko. They came out with a fan for the back. You could buy. They cost like $20-something. You see what I'm saying? Instead of fixing the problem, they just made somebody else fix the problem.
Yeah, and now you gotta pay extra.
I bought those fans for my Wii. They didn't do much for the Xbox, but check it out. I did get the first version of Xbox 360 that was having those issues.
Okay.
So I was actually cool. Only reason I upgraded to the S, like Lindell said, is because my base hard drive just wasn't that big.
Yeah.
So I upgraded to the S because I had a bigger hard drive. But here's the thing I didn't know. I went to play one of my first generation Xbox games in the S. It wasn't backwards compatible anymore. Only the original 360 was backwards compatible. That S that I got, because I still had a couple games like Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that on from the Xbox. So
that was a good Star Wars game too.
That was the best Star Wars game I ever played in my life at that time. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not playing my game no more. I wanted to cry like a baby.
Oh, man. Yeah. I didn't even knew that. See, I never bought the S. I never bought the S.
Still got it.
Wow. You know what's cool about Xbox 2? Is that you could buy the skins for the 360.
Yeah.
Like the actual case the Xbox came in, you can actually take it off and put a skin on it. That was pretty cool.
I remember them skins.
Yeah, I had them. And then when the Xbox One S came out, Xbox One came out, I was hesitant in buying it because of the whole Red Rings of Death thing. I was hesitant to buy it, so I didn't buy it until I waited for a while until the whole first wave got bought up. When the whole first wave got bought up, then I went and got mine. But I was mad because I missed out on a white one that came out. I was mad about that. I missed out on a white one because I wanted the white one to be different from everybody else. But it was only a limited quantity that he had out there. But I was like, I would rather not have the white one and not deal with the red rings than have it and deal with that, you know. So I had the Xbox One and I had the Xbox One S, and those were my game. Like I liked Xbox because they had a lot of games at that point in time. But then something just happened, and they stopped focusing on games and started focusing on subscribers. Like everything was on subscriber base. Like subscribe, and like I was like, well, where the games at? Like it started being a chore trying to find something to play that wasn't AAA. You know, because most of their games, they didn't have a lot of exclusives at one point in time when PlayStation was whooping their ass. So I went and bought when the PS4 came out. I went and got the PS4. They had games. They actually had games to play. It was just getting horrible with Xbox. Now it's even worse now. Like the games that they had, like at one point in time, you could not find somebody's household without an Xbox. At one point in time, and like Xbox was like Xbox to me was like toilet paper. Everybody had to have one. Everybody. You couldn't get on a bus, train, car, bike, skateboard without somebody saying something about Xbox. Because the PS3, when the PS3 came out, that thing was $600. A lot of people wasn't spending that much money.
Mm.
You know, and then the best part about it though was the original PS3 was backwards compatible. So you paid that $600 for that Blu-ray, and it was backwards compatible on playing all the PS2 games. It's why people bought it. You know, when it came out the PS3 Slim, I bought that version. You know, I always had both consoles in my household. I always had both consoles because I had friends on both sides.
What do you have now?
This is PS. All I got is PS4. My Xbox used to be a cup holder, so I got rid of it. I sold it.
Look at that cup holder.
I lie to you not.
Never got on it anymore. It just was sitting there.
No. When I got a big screen TV now, but when I was using my what is it called? My projector, I had both consoles side by side. I had the PS4 on one side and the Xbox on the other side, and the Xbox just turned into I stopped playing after a while, and it started turning into my cup holder. I fit my drinks on it all the damn time. Because once I told my friends about the PS4, and they actually tried the PS4 and they played it, they never turned back. All my friends got the PS4 now. Like once I showed them what it could do, and all the games that they had, they was like, "Well, what the hell are we playing Xbox for?" I was like, "Yeah."
It's all good. It's all good. You know what? We are at the hour. You know what I'm saying? If anybody has anything else they want to speak on real quick.
Got one more thing.
Don still got stitch. Go ahead, Don. Go ahead, babe.
Handhelds. Handheld. I remember my friend came to school with the Game Boy. He came to school with the Game Boy. I'm going to tell you how so jealous I was. I wanted to crack him in his head because he was gloating about this Game Boy. And guess what? Later that year, my Uncle Aaron got me the Game Gear. And I brought that to school. He never said not one other thing about a Game Boy ever. Ever. When the Game Gear came out, I'm gonna tell you, I had NBA Jam, I had Mortal Kombat, I had Sonic, I had so many games for that Game Gear, and it had its own carrying case. And not just that, it had an adapter. You can watch TV on it.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
So you're talking about. I remember when one of my classmates was like, "Yo, let's have a Game Gear party." So my friend didn't come to school that day. One of my other friends didn't come to school that day because he didn't have a Game Gear. He had a Game Boy. So about 90% of us had a Game Gear. We were in the class exchanging games and playing them. And he didn't come to school that day. We all knew why.
Oh, I feel so bad for him.
You shamed him from coming to school.
But we act like it wasn't nothing, though. You know, we act like it wasn't nothing and whatever. So yeah, like the Game Gear. And I remember when I gave it to Tony. Tony took care of that thing for like 5 straight years.
For real?
Tony had that thing after I was done with it around 17, 18 years old. I had it since I was 13, 14. When you got it for me, I was like 14 years old when you got it for me. So this is back in like 94.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony had it up until almost 2000, 2001.
Yeah, pretty much. that introduced me to Game Boy Advance, Game Boy SP, PSP. That was like my first handheld game, so I took care of that game. That was my pride and joy.
Game Gear, I'm gonna tell you something. Tony kept it clean. He kept the game safe. He didn't play no games with this Game Gear. When I gave him that, it was like a crown jewel to him.
Yeah.
It was portable, so he could be on a bus playing it. You know what I'm saying? It's chilling.
Yeah. I learned that he used to take care of his stuff, so it came off from it, that rubbed off towards me, where I see how he took care of his games, because he the type person, if he gave you a disc that didn't have no scratches on it, he expect the disc to not have scratches. If he got back and it had scratches on it, he's like, "The fuck just happened? What did you do? My game got all these damn scratches. Now I got to put alcohol to make it work, because now the disc is all messed up." So I learned that. I learned to keep everything in the separate area, safe and sound. If it's
like Tone kept that thing immaculate, yo. I mean, I was hearing about people like, I remember he used to pull his Game Gear out. They're like, "What the hell is that?" It's a Game Gear. It's still around? Like, I guess it is. Got one.
So yeah.
And he had a ton of games for it, like a ton of games. Not only did he have what I had, but he built up on it, you know? So
as
yeah,
the game got older, he was collecting other people's stuff and bringing it and just keeping that thing on tap.
I remember he gave Damir a PS2. And Tony had about almost 75 games for that PS2 when he gave it to Damir. Almost 75 games.
Woo.
I gave it to him because his PS2 broke, I think, and I was like, "Yo, here, so take mine. So I just get another one." I had Smack.
But here's the thing about it, though. That year that the PS2 broke, that's when the Xbox 360 came out, and I was buying him a 360. So he didn't know I was getting him a 360. So it was a good bridge game for him because once he got a 360, the PS2 went right back in the corner.
Yeah.
Because the 360 had online. 360 was the first console that had real online capabilities. Like the Dreamcast was cool, but everybody didn't have internet.
Yeah.
And the internet was AOL back in those days. You know,
AOL. Oh my God, American Online. I remember them guys.
AOL was messed up. It was a free disc in the cashier's aisle. You can just pick up and just roll out with it.
Pick it up and just it's yours now. I remember
pay for it or nothing. Yeah. So
I remember.
The fact that was our internet was just crazy. It sounded like a fax machine.
But the fact is, like, you know, once you were online, it took you a while to get online. But once you were on, it was on, man.
Yeah.
No, chat rooms. I remember when chat rooms was the bomb. Chat rooms,
man.
That's all we did was be in chat. All day we was in chat rooms, just chatting and busting on people and going to different chat rooms. They had poetry chat rooms. They had like math chat rooms. They had chess chat rooms. They had all kinds of chat rooms.
Any kind of subject you could think of, somebody created a chat room for that.
I remember.
Chat rooms was where the party line used to be.
You know what I mean?
People would rather type what they had to say than go into a party line and talk what they had to say. Because in the chat room, you could be anybody you wanted to be.
That's right. Yeah, the chat room in AOL and Yahoo.
Yep. I remember that too.
Yahoo. I think there was one more. I can't remember it, but I know AOL and Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
I think MySpace came out.
Oh man,
years later. That was years
later.
Inside high school, I had MySpace. I also used it for music. I had like over 500 music on that job. That's all I used it for, was just for music.
Once MySpace came out, I remember
that was the first Facebook right there. Was MySpace.
Yeah, and that's when AOL and Yahoo dropped because chat rooms became just just places where people used to solicit like sex.
Anything, anything, yeah.
So it was like, hey, you can't get into a chat room without these motherfuckers fucking up,
That's
man.
where the fetishes were now. The chat rooms are all fetishes now, man. What your feet look like? How your toes painted? You know.
I was like, well, I guess we're done, yo. It was chat rooms and there were webcams. That's when webcams were still cool,
And also, if you got one thing, the birth of spam.
The birth of spam.
My God, yo.
Yeah, were you ever in those chat rooms and someone like got mad at you and put out a code and kicked you out?
Like, yo, if you're really cool, press these 3 buttons together. You press those 3 buttons together, you got booted all the way out this system. You gotta turn your computer off.
Turn your computer on. It'll be like, oh man, we'll be here all day and shit trying to get back on. I had this one boy, he got so mad at me, he was like, oh yeah, well gosh this. And then he typed something and the code came down. I was like, ooh, next thing you know, I'm out. I'm disconnected.
That was the craziest thing, man.
I
Crazy.
was like, what the hell? I was mad as hell.
Me and a buddy, white guy. Sorry, that's talking.
No, good.
Oh, my bad. Me and this white friend of mine, he was the professor's son. We were bored during the summer, so we infiltrated this KKK site to understand. Oh yeah, look, we was hardcore with it because we were both basically. I was pretending like I was white, and I was trying to get to why this guy hated black people. Like, what's the cause of it? I'm thinking, he's gonna tell me that his family got attacked or robbed or something like that. Lots of prodding. Like half hour in, this guy finally says he was best friends with this black guy, that him and the black guy went out somewhere, and the white guy caused the fight. Not the black guy. The white guy caused the fight, and his black friend didn't back him up on the fight that he started. Then this whole thing made this guy go so far right that he became this like KKK extremist. And finally, we dug so deep, the guy finally like put two and two together and realized like,
Y'all was black.
Yeah, well, at least I was black. My friend was white, but he basically kicked us out the chat room and stuff like that. Like, why are you asking so many questions? Like, usually if you're down with the cause, you don't care.
You don't care about any of that stuff.
You don't need a history lesson, you know what I'm saying? But that just goes to show you how, I know I'm going off topic, but it just goes to show you how there's people out there that don't like you or don't like us just because he didn't hold the door open for me. You know what I'm saying? Like something real stupid and silly.
And trivial. Yeah.
Yeah, like something you would forget about when you're day to day. These other people take it to the extreme.
Harboring on it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I remember, white privilege existed before the phrase came out. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, I can't tell you how many times I've been called the N-word on a video game.
They taught this stuff. This isn't stuff. This stuff has a 400-year upgrade. You know what I'm saying? It's been going for 400 years, y'all. You know what I mean? So listen, they've been creating ways, new ways, and other ways, and these ways to mess with us because they're just so afraid. You know what I mean?
Before we get off, I need one thing. I need Rob. I need your PSN, man.
Yeah, sure.
I need to do that Back for Blood, man. I gotta check that out.
Sorry, I got.
All right, well, y'all can text it to each other, can't you?
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
I'll get it off of the group text and then I'll just send it over. 30 seconds. Let me sell this one last
30
story.
seconds. All right, go ahead.
Seconds.
It ain't my show no more. Go ahead, man.
Listen. How am I playing Xbox 360 Left 4 Dead in between matches? So this is basically when you go from stage to stage, you're waiting for the next the board to boot up. All of a sudden, these kids who don't know I'm black, you're just an avatar. They just start going into how many blacks does it take to change a light bulb? Like, I don't know. And these were young kids. They were like 12 and 14. I'm like 30 at the time and being an old man. And they just started going racist for no reason whatsoever. And like you said, it's
part of the culture.
Yeah, it was just out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the next board and co-op and stuff like that, and they just start with the racist jokes. I'm like, I'm typing in on the thing. I'm like, I am black. Well, that's not cool. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm done.
It is, man. You
know what I do to people like that though? I always stay quiet. And I record. That's why I record all my sessions, so I can report them, and I can show where they. I got somebody kicked off of the division.
Okay.
I mean, permanently booted off division too.
I have reported people over stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because all they have to do is, but this was verbal, so I didn't record it.
Yeah, because I record all my sessions on PSN. I record all my sessions on PlayStation, and so that if something like that does happen, I got reference, and I can give it to them, and they can see, the timestamp and everything. Yeah, I reported them to PlayStation, and I also reported them to Ubisoft. So
I said, I'm gonna make y'all pay the price, baby.
That's right.
Modern times, we ain't gotta put up with that shit no more. You ain't gotta put up with it no more.
And then they about getting booted. They don't just boot your PSN. They boot your IP address.
Yeah.
Oh snap, for real.
So you can never get on their servers ever again.
You have to go to somebody else's. You ain't have your username, all that, because if you put in your username, it's not gonna come up. They might.
If you just boot somebody by their PSN, and all they gotta do is make a new PSN, and they can keep on playing and need that new PSN. But if you boot their IP address,
that's over.
That's why they put in the fake address, so that won't happen.
Yeah, the VPNs. That's why everybody got a VPN nowadays, so now they can hide and they can't get booted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So same way with Xbox. Xbox do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got booted off of Madden plenty of times, man. I had to plead my case. I got booted off of Madden 3 different times.
Damn.
Yeah, the person got mad because I was beating them so bad. They said I was soliciting child porn.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
But I record everything. I record everything. So when they did that to me, I sent them a video of the match.
The orange soda.
And he got permanently banned.
Yep.
They gave me a free 1-year extension. They booted me for the whole weekend. Okay. So once I got an appeal, I said, yo, what you boot me for? This and the third. Oh, well, you're soliciting child. I'm like, really? So I played the whole video, and they was like, I was like, what point did I solicit? I said, now I might have cursed at him out and made him mad, and he quit. That's what I do. But yeah, he said I solicited child porn. Once his child porn, the other one said derogatory language, and another one was it was something else. The derogatory language one, I didn't have my mic in because I was talking to Jock Quinn about something. I was playing the game. So I didn't have my mic in, and they heard him talking, but not me.
Oh.
I sent that one in, and that person got banned for 3 days. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, these people get crazy on these games, man, when they lose.
Yeah, they get crazy. That's a little hardcore, yo. That's hardcore for real.
Trying to get you arrested.
Yeah. Oh, that's all day long. You hear that shit from everybody. You hear cracker, nigga.
That's why people when you report somebody, it got all these different Dropbox comes down, and you can choose which one you want, or you can put in a little brief summary of what happened. Like reporting somebody is real. Like that shit is real. And now this day and age too, cancel culture. Oh, everybody hops on it. It's always overboard with the negativity of the band. It's like it's overboard. Like, can I plead my case? Where's the proof? I got proof of what happened to me. Where's his proof at? You're just going by what he's saying. Well, where's the proof? You know? Yeah, it is, man. It is. That's why I record it, man.
Karens have always existed, yo. Karens in all kinds of forms have always existed, yo. That coward, I'm better. I got more rights than you, so I'm going to pretend, to get you in trouble so I can feel good about myself. People, they're crazy. They're everywhere, man. Everywhere. I've ran into them at the job. I've ran into them in the street, man. They're everywhere.
They call them Karens and Darrens for the guys.
And they, you know why they're everywhere? Because they've been allowed to be everywhere. Black folks used to get killed because of these people all the time, man. Girl says, boy said this, or he said that, or look at how he looking at. Look, that we used to get killed all the time for this kind of shit, man. That's why we used to be the way we are, and that's why we still are the way we are with white people. You know what I'm saying? I love my white people. But some of y'all is fucked up and crazy, just like some else is, yo. It's crazy.
Well, for me, I met black Karens from high school that always talk shit, and black Darrens, especially Darren's when I do my security jobs, it'd be so much. I'm like, yo, you don't understand how much I'm holding back from whooping your ass right about now. This be nothing. But at the same time, stuff in it's like, no, don't do it because it's not worth it. Same thing that you said, like, it's not worth it, man. You ain't gonna for like what today, tomorrow. You probably gonna forget about him. You ain't gonna see him no more until years down the road.
I always remember. This is what I always remember. I got a good life and you don't. I'm good.
Is that they'll leave that whole situation and don't even care.
Yeah.
It affected you at all. So
that's just
why,
another moment for them.
Yep. This is it's an average day.
All right, I'm gonna end it, man. No more extensions. I don't care what y'all got to say. We ending this today, y'all. Video games is over. Thanks for coming. I love you all. You know what I'm saying? I want you bye. Hey, y'all have a good one, y'all. Y'all have a good one. We had a hard time getting off this one, y'all. Have a good one, everybody.
Rob, love y'all.
Love y'all.